talking. Of course, you guys know Nick Shirley. He did he broke the Somali fraud in Minnesota story, really, using somebody was trying to make fun of him online today. Let me see if I can pull it up. Somebody was saying, I think I have it here. Y'all, Nick Shirley has done it again, they say. Let me make this a little bit bigger. He showed up to a bunch of places, baselessly accused people of fraud, then cited records, and Nick comes and he says, anyways, this is the classic Nick Shirley formula, right? Nick responds, he defends himself here. And I jump in and say, the classic Nick Shirley formula appears to be walking places and knocking, which apparently no other journalists have thought of up until now. That's what I think I love most about the whole Nick Shirley phenomenon, the story, is that he literally just finds places that look suspicious and he actually gets his ass up and goes to them. And I feel like either if you weren't a lazy journalist or you weren't somehow covering for your leftist administrations, you would probably get up and go investigate it too. He's not doing all that much. He's literally going over to these places and knocking on some doors and saying, hey, can I talk to you? And they're running away, right? Like this isn't the craziest idea in the world. This is basic journalism that no one was willing to do. And the second somebody does it, they're like, oh, well, this must be incorrect. We don't have confirmation of every case he's pointing out yet, but the things he points out really do look suspicious. So he's in California now. This is the big news story. And he's looking into California hospice fraud. This is what is identified as the big epicenter of fraud in California. In Minnesota, it was like the Somali daycares. I think he looked into those a little bit in California, but he's mostly focusing on these fake, what he's alleging are fake hospice services now, okay? Which are, he'll find, same thing as he did with the Somali fraud cases, he'll find like 38 hospices all in one dilapidated building in downtown Los Angeles. They'll go knock on the doors, people drive away in Bentleys, right? So this is him explaining how hospice fraud works. I think this is a good place to start. So he says it right here. Credit to Nick Shirley, by the way. Love what he's doing. He says, this is how the hospice fraud works. Get a small office in LA. Collect Medicare beneficiary numbers. Enroll people into hospice. Bill the government for millions. So not a complicated formula. He says if you get caught or anyone starts getting suspicious, these people just pack up and walk away with millions, is what he says here, okay? Let me find a good... There's good videos of here. Well, I guess we'll just play this one for starters.
Here in California, what makes this hospice and home healthcare fraud so hard to crack down on, take for example this one right here, All Day Hospice Care. They have billed $3.1 million, and per beneficiary, that's about $6,000, and 24 claims per patient with only 2 codes, which means 2 services. They've had over 505 patients, and they started billing in 2023 and accumulated $3.1 million in 19 months. And that is over 12,000 claims. The velocity of the billing here is what leads me to believe this is potentially fraudulent. And what makes this hard...
So, I mean, he's got some idea of why he wants to investigate these particular places. It's that velocity of billing, as he points out, which isn't a bad reason to go check a place out.
Hard to track is that they then just rent small little suites inside of these kind of buildings, and they run their operations from there. And once any sort of suspicion comes, they then leave, close down shop, and who knows where they go. Are they going back to Armenia? Are they going back to Russia? Are they going back to their native country? Or are they just moving to another building inside of a location here in Los Angeles? And these areas where these people are committing this fraud, it just looks dilapidated. You have storefronts that are completely closed down, homeless people walk on the streets, these businesses are all boarded up, and they're prying on people who are on the verge of death to make all their money. That's what hospice is. But that is what...
I believe he's right here as he's talking about the dilapidated areas these buildings are in. A homeless person pees right next to him. I think that's what we're about to see.
This model of the hospices is they just literally rent out these small little suites, charge millions of dollars over the years, Oh my gosh. And you just have people peeing. How was that piss?
Just a side, I love that also. How was that piss? A side note, I'm totally used to this. I'm like immune to it. I see this every day. This is totally normal for me. So I live in downtown San Diego, which sounds great. San Diego is awesome. But if you've ever visited the downtown, it's almost like, I like to tell people it's like a little mini San Francisco. It's like because I've been to San Francisco too, and I'm like, oh, this is like San Diego on steroids. San Diego on opioids, right? Like it's like 4 times as much, but they're essentially the same thing. So I see all the time homeless people just, I've seen someone poop through their pants, okay? You don't know what I've seen. So yeah, if you're in one of these areas like that in an urban environment, homeless people will just roll up and just start defecating right in front of you. Like it's the streets of India or something like that. That's what it reminds me of sometimes. But in any case, he's looking into the fraud here. This was a good video of him. So he finds this, I guess this was a motel maybe, where he was asking people about the hospices set up there. And he says everybody parked at the motel is in like super expensive cars, and the second that they catch wind of the fact that Nick Shirley is interviewing people there, they all peel away. And this is a great video. Let me find it. Here we go.
For work here.
Huh?
What do you do for work here?
Why?
Oh, we're just looking around. We're seeing all these hospices, so we're just curious.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Word got out that I was inside of the plaza, and all the fraudsters started hopping in their cars, leaving the scene.
Excuse me. Let's see if they can just answer our questions really quick. Hello, can we ask you a quick question? Driving out in a brand new M8. They can't get out that easy. How can I get an M8 as well? Should I open up a hospice? We're driving out in a brand new M8 BMW M8 competition. Listen to this thing. This is the sound of hospice money. And this is the guy who said he's fat because of...
That's that guy was trying to be a jerk, obviously, and just gave Nick Shirley like the best video of all time. Just revving his engine. It does look suspicious. I mean, why does everyone have the super nice cars in this place? Are you kidding me? Apparently these are all, it says here, Home Healthcare Incorporated. It's in a motel. I mean, I imagine a lot of people die in hotels or motels, but I know they had actual hospices there.
Dr. Oz. His business is not open today. Seems like this mafia right here is naming all of their companies.
So this is literally all he does. He just finds things that look obviously suspicious. He goes to these obviously suspicious places, and then people online try to crap on him and say that he's in the wrong, accusing them. And yet I haven't seen anybody say, there was maybe one report I heard of that there was one of the Somali daycares he accused of being fraudulent was maybe operating. That's all I've heard. I haven't seen a ton of online backlash about the actual fraud, but people always say it like he's in the wrong. He's just knocking on doors. It's that simple. Somebody on Twitter pointed out an interesting thing, the opioid link to these hospices. He says, am I the only one who remembered that a hospice is allowed and expected to buy large amounts of opioid drugs? So I don't know I haven't looked into this too much, but is that possible? That this is part of the scam? If you were running a fraudulent hospice, would you also be ordering opiate drugs and selling them, potentially? Is that part of where the opiate crisis is coming from? I don't know. He brings up a really interesting point here. You got that. This was, so Gavin Newsom, probably the dumbest tweet. I don't know if it even still exists. Let's check it out. This was the press secretary for Gavin Newsom's office trying to score internet points. Of course, the day after Nick Shirley's fraud videos drop, he mocks him. He says, Nick Shirley right now, hey, can I see your kids? It's, of course, making Nick Shirley look really creepy. The point being that, yeah, they make him look like a pedophile almost, like he's got cameras and stuff like that. The point obviously being that his investigation is somehow fraudulent because he's, I don't know, rolling up to daycares or something, and maybe they're in the right. I think I have Nick Shirley's response here too. This was Nick Shirley. Possibly the biggest ratio in Twitter history. He says, "You do realize I'm trying to help America eliminate fraud and waste, right? No need to try and make me look like the bad guy for exposing fraud. People are over it. Start working for the people and not against them." And at the time of this, his response had 143,000 likes versus just a little over 10,000 for the original Gavin Newsom press secretary tweet. So really dumb tweet from Gavin. And then this was Adam Carolla jumping into the mix. He says, "This is exactly how a corrupt governor responds when someone starts exposing fraud," which, yeah, I mean, within 24 hours, they basically try to smear the guy trying to uncover the fraud. Interesting, right? And that brings us to a larger point, which is that when you look at these cases of Minnesota, Somalian daycare fraud, when you see the fraud in California amongst hospices and things like that, it's not a bug, it's a feature of the system, okay? This isn't, to my eye, overlooked by legislators. This is how it's designed to function. You know, they basically, what they do is they take areas where they want to, in some cases, import people. I think that's what we see in Minnesota, is there's a reason that the Somalian immigrants were all flown and shipped to Minnesota, right? It's no accident that that community just sprung up out of nowhere there. It's because it's a swing state, right? They ship the voters, the Democrat voters, where they need them to go. How do they make them Democrat voters and ensure that they stay that way? Well, one way is to offer them free money. But that'd be illegal, you know, of course. But I suppose if you created some government programs where they could start up their own daycare and get some special benefits because they're under this Democrat refugee program, well, then you could, in a way, funnel money to them, ensuring that they have an incentive to keep that system going, kind of like a quid pro quo, right? They would then turn around and vote for Democrats, right? Even if they're not specifically swaying an election, just their mere presence within a city or state increases Democrat representation in the census, right? And that ultimately increases the Democrat representation in Congress. So whether or not they're actually swaying the election, they are, because they're increasing the voter representation in Congress simply by being counted in a census, right? It's part of the plan. I don't know. He doesn't go into detail, at least in the reporting I've seen here, if the California hospice fraud is related to immigration or not. But it tends to be that these types of things happen in these sanctuary cities, right? Here's a related story to all this stuff. So this was from James O'Keefe. Okay, he was the, oh gosh, what was it called? Project Veritas CEO. He was ousted. Now he has his own media company. So I guess he went around to Los Angeles. He went undercover. And he posed as a homeless person. And on hidden cameras, he got petitioners admitting that they were paid $7 to $10 per signature, earning $1,000 or more per day. It's basically people getting homeless people to register to vote, getting them to sign petitions, and giving them money in exchange for that, so that they could in turn get paid for the number of signatures they got. Take a listen.
Paid too. I'm paying you guys. I need to get paid. Come on.
That is a federal felony, and it didn't just happen once. It happened over and over and over again. We personally witnessed and covertly filmed this happening at least 28 times over the span of our investigation, and that is just in Los Angeles. Many of the homeless have zero understanding of what it is that they're actually signing.
But what is that petition for?
What was the petition for? I do not know.
The petitioners instruct the homeless to enter made-up addresses like Pinocchio Lane.
What do I put as my address?
Yeah, just put you live on Pinocchio Lane?
Oh, you can just fake it out.
Oh, good.
And all of this occurring just outside the front doors of shelters and NGOs such as Weingart Center, which have received hundreds of millions of dollars in government money. One Weingart employee tells us,
So I was reliably informed that voter fraud of this nature doesn't occur. At least not widespread, right? And yet here you have him pointing out that just in a couple days of going undercover, he's able to see 28 instances of these people paying the homeless to vote or to sign petitions. They offered cash, cigarettes, marijuana even to homeless people in exchange for signing voter registration forms and election petitions. They were telling them to write down fake addresses. How much does this increase your confidence that people were not ballot harvested back in 2020, right? When the right says, "Hell, I feel like there was something a little bit shady with all the drop boxes, and couldn't you just go to people's homes that aren't voting and just basically get them to sign up or get fake ballots and stuff those boxes?" You kind of see something similar here, right? He says you could just fake an address. $7 to $10 per signature. Sometimes these guys who were getting them to sign up were making $1,000 per day. The petitions they were signing ranged from taxing billionaires. So these are real things that they're getting passed based on these signatures, right? Where'd it go? To overturning LA's $30 minimum wage for hotel and airline workers. Oh, that's pretty sweet. Bet the homeless didn't care about that one bit. Some funded by major companies, including Uber, Delta, United Airlines. It's kind of what this is Uber for voting. They just DoorDashed some votes from some homeless people. The investigation also implicated staff at the Weingart Center, which he just points out. They've received hundreds of millions of dollars in public money. So staff apparently may have been involved there. Employees are shown directing homeless residents straight to the petitioners under a tree across the street and coaching them on plausible deniability. A lot of times I have to say I didn't know, I had no idea the center's former CEO reportedly earned $432,000 before resigning. Interesting. So, and Governor Gavin Newsom came out immediately once he heard about this, demanded swift prosecution, because what else is he going to do? California's Secretary of State signaled action, so everybody's looking into it. But who knows how long this type of thing's been going on for. So some great reporting out of California, both the voter fraud as well as hospice fraud happening apparently in California. And perhaps those two things are always intertwined in some way.